Hello everybody, my name is Larry, and this is my channel on living with stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer. And today I'm going to talk about some information I got from, actually it was from a YouTube channel, but it was originally a webinar. The webinar was from a Promise group that's from the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, and this webinar was from March 1st, 2023, and the title of it is kind of long. It's PARP Inhibitors, that's PARP Inhibitors in Prostate Cancer Treatment. And there was two doctors that spoke on it, Dr. Heather Cheng from the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Center and Dr. Channing Poller from Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. And these are actually clinical trials that they were speaking about on these PARP inhibitors. And I didn't know what PARP stood for, the PARP, so it's polyadenosine diphosphate ribose polymerase. Now we know what it stands for. I still don't know what it means, but there it is. So these PARP inhibitors they're talking about, it's a class of drugs. They're fairly new experimental drugs just being put into use for prostate cancer. A class of drugs that block cancer cells from repairing tumor DNA. So I had a little video explaining what I knew about how our immune system attacks the cancer tumor cells, and I did mention in there that tumor cells do defend themselves. For these drugs stop the tumor cells from repairing their tumor cells. So that's what these PARP inhibitors do. And they explained, the doctors explained that there's 6 teams of gene repair that the tumors are using to repair their genes. And they said that if you can disable more than one of these teams, then there's a good chance that the cancer cell will die. And that's what these PARP inhibitors do. Now, these PARP inhibitors have been used in ovarian cancer, and they're just being brought out and doing clinical trials on to see how they work against prostate cancer. There's 3 drugs that they talked about, these PARP inhibitors. One of them was olaparib, OLAPARIB. That was approved in May of 2020. Then we have rucaparib, RUCAPARIB. That was also approved in May of 2020 for clinical trials. And then we have niraparib, NIRAPARIB. That was approved for clinical use in prostate cancer trials in October of 2019. So all 3 of these, like right now my cancer, I'm still I'm not castrate resistant. The Lupron injections I'm taking, you know, they're ADT, they're affecting my testosterone. I'm still taking advantage of that. But let's say once the Lupron stopped working, then they'd say I was castration resistant. The Lupron quits working. Lupron is basically chemically castrating me. So, but once the Lupron quit working, I'm chemically castrated, cancer would still grow, my PSA would still go up. That's when these drugs would come into play. They did talk about some clinical trials, and right here is about where they lost me, because I was an engineer, and I can't understand all this. I understood this statistical jargon, but I can't understand all this medical jargon, all these words that are going around. Anyway, the clinical trial results, basically, they're saying, just for one example, the first one that they had, the first clinical trial they talked about, had to do with olaparib, and in conjunction with the use of a prostate cancer drug called abiraterone. Abiratone, Abiratone. And they said there that the clinical trials showed that they're having survival rates. They increased the survival rates for the cancer patients by 7 months without decreasing their quality of life, which is very important. I mean, who wants to take drugs that are worse than the cure? Sometimes I wonder about that, but with all these drugs I'm taking, but and I'm not taking that many, but still, I have a lot of side effects. Anyway, and they talked about that was the most advanced of the 3 clinical trials. The other ones, the results weren't as statistically sound because they're so new. But so that one, at least the first one, the olaparib with in conjunction with taking abiraterone, survival rates increased by 7 months with no decrease in the quality of life. So anyway, the video today is I'm basically just trying to give us hope, going forward. If my Lupron quits working, I hope it doesn't, and I hope I don't even need Lupron in the future, but let's just say it did. There are trials being done. This was 3 of them they were doing right now on 3 different drugs, but the medical world as far as prostate cancer right now seems to be really active, which is great. So it's hope out there. That's why I always say, if you have stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer, if you have someone you love who has stage 4 metastatic prostate cancer, we need to stay in the game. You never know what's going to happen. They could be a cure come out tomorrow. There's a lot of other fronts besides these 3 trials too. I wish I could understand things a little better medically and try to explain them, but I am at a loss. But the more I read, I understand a little bit more. So anyway, stay in the game. Don't get discouraged. And in the meantime, just enjoy your life. Enjoy everything you do. Don't enjoy every cup of coffee, Peace. Enjoy your family and friends too. And ice cream cones.